Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Varun Pawar, and welcome back to my channel, which is Certified Business Analysis Professional. And I hope you are liking my videos. Please do let me know by liking or sharing or subscribing to my channel. Now, let's move forward. So, so far we were discussing requirement analysis and design definition, and in this we have completed the five activities, which is specify and model requirement, verify requirement, validate requirement, define requirement architecture, define design option. And today we'll do analyze potential value and solution recommendation. So when we are saying analyze potential value, so potential, what is the potential value? Potential value of a solution is can be estimated in via different techniques. That is, we say that estimation and the financial analysis techniques, which generally used to compare the cost benefit ratio, and the different estimation techniques, that is like return on investment. uh, then we have cost benefit ratio, then we have net present value. So different estimation techniques we use to find out the potential value. And value could be um, it could be like either you are reducing the risk, that could be one of the value. That could be like the customer satisfaction, that could be one of the value. Either that could be related to some financial benefit, that could be one of the value. So there are different perception for the values based on the uh, project to project, it varies. So we'll talk about that in later slides, but you should understand what is the potential value. So we are trying to analyze the potential value, and then based on the analysis, we are recommending the solution. So, and here we are considering the different design options and comparing the potential value of those different design options. For an example, we have analyzed identified the five design options, and out of those five we have finalized this big one based on the potential value. And as I said, like there are different techniques to measure the potential value. So based on that we have identified this, and there might be some trade-offs that we are doing. And it could be possible that we are saying, okay, we are going for no design option at all. And why we are saying it for no is because the when the cost outweigh the benefits of developing this design options, then the good option to say is also like no, right? So that is one of the options. It is not always that we are recommending. Sometimes we can say no for any design, reason being the cost is outweighing the benefits. So now understand the objectives. The purpose is to estimate the potential value for each design option and to confirm which one is most relevant to meet the enterprise's requirements. Potential value is analyzed many times over the course of change. Analysis may be triggered Analysis may be triggered by a modification to the context or scope of the change. So first of all, assume this way that we have frozen some scope, and but later on we identify there is a change in the scope. Then we have to redo the reanalysis, and then we have to analyze and find out the potential value. Value can be described in terms of finance, reputation, or even impact on the marketplace. Design options are evaluated by comparing the potential value of each option. There may be no best option to recommend, or there may be a clear best choice. It is also possible that the best recommendation is to do nothing, right? So that thing I said. Now let's talk about the tools, guidelines, tools, and the inputs. The first input, we have the potential value. can be used as a benchmark against which the value delivered by a design can be evaluated. So this means you should have at least one base against which you are identifying the potential value, unless you don't have two options to compare with. If suppose you have only one option, then there is doesn't make sense to compare, because you don't have a um, base against which you have to calculate. Then we have a design options need to evaluate it and compare to one another. So now there are different design option 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're comparing all design options against each other. Then the tools that we have, the business objective to calculate the expected benefit, yes, to identify the potential value. When I said like the cost and benefit ratio we have to identify. Business objectives are the key to identify the benefits. Then we have current state description. It provides the context within which the works needs to be completed. Future state description, it describes the desired future state that the solution will be part of. Risk analysis result, potential value of design options includes an assessment of the level of risk associated with. And the solution scope defines the scope of the solution that is being delivered so that a relevant evaluation can be made that is within the scope of boundaries. And then we get the solution recommendation based on the different design options and the potential value. We select one most appropriate solution based on the evaluation of all defined design options. The recommended solution should maximize the value provided to the enterprise. Now the elements. Expected benefits. Expected benefits describe the positive value that a solution is intended to deliver to the stakeholders. Value can include benefits. As I said in the very first slide, value can include benefits, reduced risk, compliance with the business policies and regulation, and improved user experience, or any other positive outcome. Benefits are determined based on the analysis of the benefit that a stakeholder desire and the benefit that is possible to attain. Expected benefits can be calculated at the level of requirements or set of requirements by considering how much of an overall business objective the set of requirements contribute to it if fulfilled. Total expected benefit is the net benefit of all the requirements a particular design option addresses. Benefits are often realized over a period of time. So I hope these are the expected benefits that we are trying to attain from a particular design option. Then what is the expected cost? That's another element. Expected cost, it includes any potential negative value associated with a solution. And what could be those negative values? Negative values doesn't mean in a negative way. It's a kind of, you can say, like something that you have to minus from your the total uh, cost, right? Like the cost to acquire the solution, any negative effects it may have on stakeholders, and the cost to maintain it over a period of time. So like the maintenance cost, like when you have purchased, the one-time investment you have given, when we see the total cost of ownership, in which like you are paying for the licenses, then over the period of time for the maintenance cost, then you might be hiring some resource who might be doing this configuration, then you are paying for that. So these are some transactional costs that is always come, and the organization generally minus those costs to realize the benefit. So that's why these are said like negative value associated. Expected cost can include timeline. So when we are saying the cost is not always in form of some money, or it is related, it is directly proportional to the timeline, how much time, because time is money, right? Then efforts, how much efforts is being put, the operating cost, the purchase and or the implementation cost, maintenance cost, physical resources, information resources, and human resources. So both those things are you can use in expected cost, which we generally minus from our benefit and to get the uh, exact value. Then the next element is determine value. But how to determine the value? Value of a solution to a stakeholder is based on the benefits delivered by that solution and the associated cost. Cost benefit ratio, when I said, so you can relate that with this. Value can be positive if the benefit exceeds the cost, or negative if the cost exceeds the benefit. BA consider potential value from the points of view of stakeholders. So potential value is always um, been considered from the point of view of stakeholders. So that stakeholder is the one against which we say that okay, the potential value for that user is that much. So it's not like that is benefiting me as a business analyst, so I'll calculate the value. Value is not for me, value is always for the stakeholders for whom you are building that tool. Value to the enterprise is always more heavily weighted than value for any individual stakeholder group. And this is very important statement. Please note it down. So suppose there are 10 stakeholders. One stakeholder, one design option is having more value. But when we combine and the other 9 stakeholders, they have different, they select different design options where they are finding more value. So it's like those 9 stakeholders whom they are referring to getting more value, that would be considered instead of the one who is selecting their own design option. So it's like it's not individual or the stakeholder group, rather uh, if those 9 people are considering the other design options and that design option is benefiting the entire enterprise as a whole, then we consider the enterprise, we put our enterprise on a top to see if enterprise is getting benefited from that design option or not. So in that way what happens is the design options of the single stakeholders might be deprived of that design or value. But it's always been bottom top down approach. We always look from that organization enterprise point of view. There might be increase in value for one set of stakeholders and decrease for another set, but an overall positive increase in value for the enterprise as a whole justifies proceeding with the change. So I think you can relate both these two statements together. Costs are described as tangible, absolute, and might grow. Assess design options and recommend solution. Each design option is assessed based on the potential value it is expected to deliver. As costs are understood for each solution component, BA assess each design option to ensure that it represents the most effective trade-offs. There are several factors to take into consideration. And what are those? Available resources. There may be limitation with the requirement versus allocated resources. In some instances, a business case can be developed to justify additional investment on the resources. Constraints on the solution. Regulatory requirements or business decision may require that even though the regulatory requirement is not adding any value, but since these are regulatory requirement, compliance requirement, this is mandatory for an organization to deliver. So the regulatory requirements always been prioritized high. So this is also important. That's why I have marked it in bold. Regulatory requirement or business decision may require that certain requirements be handled manually or automatically, or that certain requirements be prioritized above all others. Dependencies between requirements. Some requirements may provide limited value to the organization, but need to be delivered in order to support other high value requirements. Sometimes it happens like if you deliver one requirement, that requirement alone will not deliver any value, But if the dependent requirement is included and delivered together, then it might provide the value. It is possible that none of the design options are worth, and the best recommendation is to do nothing. That was the point that I've highlighted as well. So mark this as also an important line. Then who are the stakeholders? Well, customer, because because the customer is impacted by the solution and the change, hence involved in analysis part for the potential value as well. End user of the solution and hence involved. Domain subject matter expert to assist in analyzing the potential value and the benefits. Implementation subject matter expert, it identify cost and risk of implementing a design option. Then the project manager, it manages the risk associated with the solution and the change. Regulatory, regulatory check for the recommended solution. Regulator. Regulatory check for the recommended solution. And the sponsor, because sponsor finally approve the budget, so to create or purchase a solution. When we are saying a create or purchase a solution, this is again the design option, that is a solution, right? Now, what are the techniques? So we are using acceptance and evaluation criteria. It used to express requirements in the form of acceptance criteria to make them most useful when assessing proposed solution and determine whether a solution meets the defined business needs. Then we have backlog management. It used to sequence the potential value. Brainstorming used to identify potential benefit of the requirements in collaborative manner. Business cases used to assess recommendation against business goals and the objectives. Business model canvas used as a tool to help understand strategy and initiative. Decision analysis used to support the assessment and ranking of decision options. Then we have estimation used to forecast the cost and effort of meeting the requirements as a step toward estimating their value. So estimation, financial analysis, these are important techniques for the evaluation of the potential value pertaining to the design options. Financial analysis used to evaluate the financial return of different options to choose the best possible return on investment. Focus groups used to get stakeholder input on which design option best meet the requirements and to evaluate a targeted small group of stakeholders, value expectation, etc. Interviews used to get stakeholder input on which design options best meet the requirement and to evaluate individual stakeholders, value expectation. Metrics and key performance indicators used to create and evaluate the measurements used in defining value. Risk analysis and management used to identify and manage the risk that could affect the potential value of the requirements. Survey or questionnaire used to get stakeholder input on which design options best meet the requirements and to identify stakeholders' value expectation. And then SWOT analysis, which is like strength, weakness, opportunity and threat analysis to use to identify areas of strength and weaknesses that will impact the value of the solution. And then finally, we have workshops used to get stakeholder input on which design option best meet the requirements and to evaluate stakeholders' value expectation. So these are the techniques, though the whole set of the techniques we will go through in detail once we are done with all the knowledge areas. So that's it from my end. Thank you very much. And with this last slide, we are done with the requirement analysis and design definition knowledge area. And then we will move ahead with the other two knowledge areas. So keep watching my videos and please subscribe if not already subscribed, because whenever I'm uploading the videos, you will get it as and when I'm uploading. So please keep subscribed. So thank you everyone. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.